It's Saturday. I'm back here in the shop and going to try to get that wiring all finished up. Let me show you what I'm going to do today. Welcome to 3D Accuracy, where I'll talk about 3D printing, 3D product design, and 3D injection and die-cast mold design. I have some of this 10-gauge wire out of the metal cladding, and I'm going to use that to make the connections inside of the three-phase panel. What I have to do is wire up this circuit breaker, this three-phase circuit breaker. And so what I'm going to do is, stay there. Okay, I have to run a wire from the black to one side, then from the red to the middle, and then from this connection over here, a white wire, which is the third phase, bring it over to here, and then go from the other side to the receptacle here. I put the ground on last night. I have to connect that up. Then I realized I don't have screws to screw this in, because when I purchased this, it had screws without a nut, and this is going through, of course, there's a little hole in the sheet metal, and so, I'll put the screw in from underneath and then put the nut on the backside, but I don't have any of those. It didn't come with this, so I have to run over to Ace Hardware, which is close to me, and I'll grab one of those. So I want to get this all wired up, which is relatively straightforward and simple. Then I have to rewire this. There was a little bit of damage to this one wire. So what I think I'm going to do is just cut this all off and then strip this back a little bit, use new fresh wire, then get the new plug on there. Then I got to move this machine forward. I got to move it out of the way so I can get this transformer around behind it and over here on the other side. I want to put it right in here. And then once I do that, then it's just a matter of connecting the circuit breaker in here in the sub panel with these wires, the 8-gauge wires for the three-phase, go into the three-phase panel, and put the 50-amp circuit breaker right here in its spot, and then all that wiring is done. First of all, let's get this one done, and then we'll go from there. Making some progress here. Let me show you what I have done. It's a little dark in this spot between the machine and the file cabinets. There's no light directly overhead, so I use my treble light here so we can see a little bit more what's going on. You see, I have the circuit breaker right there mounted in position, and there's a black wire, a red wire, and a white wire, and the black and the red go on this other side and connect to those two connectors. You can see them right there. The black one on the top, red one on the bottom. And the white one connects on this other side to that connector in the back. That's the manufactured line, the third phase from the idler motor on the floor. Then on the other side of the circuit breaker, I have the black wire, the red wire, and the white wire coming out of it on this side. And they just kind of loop up and over, and I leave extra wire. That way it's easy to maneuver and get in between, get my fingers in there, that kind of stuff, and move things around as I need to. And they go to the back of the receptacle. This is an L15 three-phase 20-amp receptacle. And the ground wire, of course, goes to the ground connection in the back. You can see it back there. The black wire is connected to the X terminal. You can see it. You can kind of see the X. Not real easy to see. The Y has the red wire connected to it. The little Y, you can't see it right to the right of the wire there. There's a little stamped Y. And the white goes to the Z. And the Z, you can't really see it. But it's there. Trust me, it's there. So I have this all wired. The only thing I've yet to do is the on-off switch. I need to connect it to the front panel, and then I can mount the panel closure, put that on the box, and close the box up. But what I'll do is I'll put that on there, but I'll just put a couple of screws in to kind of hold it in place for now, because I'm not really going to do anything more with this today. I'm not going to test it or anything like that. I'm just going to put it together. Now the other, let me go over on the other side here, set the light down. I'm going to put the new plug on here first, cut this wire off, and this one is connected exactly the same way. There's a green wire here for the ground. This terminal is the X terminal, and I can tell by the shape of the contact. The new plug, these contacts are exactly the same, and by which position I know they fit into the receptacle, I know that this is the X, the red is the Y, and the white over here on the other side is the Z connector. So I know I have the receptacle wired exactly the same as this plug is, provided that when it goes into the machine, it's all connected in the same fashion here. Although I don't believe the red and the black, if you switched them, I don't know that it would make a difference because they're both lines that are providing power to the machine. And the white, which is the manufactured third phase, I'm not sure that one really makes a difference either. But I'll ask that question before I, turn on the electricity and and give it a whirl, see what happens. I'm slowly getting someplace, almost done. I'm just going to put that new plug on and then move the machine out, put the transformer over here on the other side behind me, on the other side of the 3D printer, and then hook it all up and wait till Monday till I talk to the manufacturer. I've been sending them pictures of everything I've done and explained how the connections are to make sure that I have it correct. I'm pretty sure I do. I just want to verify it one more time before I put electricity to it. So once I get that done, then that's it. That's it for wiring on this machine. Then I can start the wiring up in front and do some of that. Okay, so let's get that plug on. That's the next thing on the agenda. Getting some more done. Take a look at this. Look at that nice new plug on there, huh? Holy cow. Wow. I like it. Time to move the machine forward, get that transformer over to the other side of the machine, and then I can position things, no, I can't put the printer back yet. I still have to connect the air compressor. I have that to do, so I'll wait with doing that. Okay, but anyway, making progress. All right, now let me get this machine moved. Have the transformer moved over here to this position in front of the idler motor. I don't want to plug the new plug in to the receptacle underneath there yet because I have to get a couple of screws and tighten that down, and I don't want it pushing up into the box because there's no screws in it, so I'm not going to bother. But enough cord to move this to the other side of the 3D printer, which is a good thing. I measured it as best I could. It was kind of coiled up, but I got an idea of about how long it was and figured I've got a little extra space. I've got enough and a little extra, so it should be okay. And sure enough, it is. So let me show you what the back of the machine looks like. What happens here is there's an uninterruptible power supply in here. Just in case the power goes out, the machine won't just conk off. It'll give you the opportunity to shut it down or pause it or do whatever you need to do. And here's the on-off switch for that, which of course is on the very back of the machine, way down on the bottom, so I don't want to push this up against the wall where I can't reach in there and feel that and be able to turn it on and off. Then there's also a circuit breaker here that needs to be turned on before the machine will work, and there's the on-off switch right there. So I've got to talk to the company that I bought it from. There's a sequence. You got to turn on this first, and that next, and this last, and then you can start the machine up. So I want to see if I can leave all those things on down here. I'm pretty sure I can. I'm pretty sure that I can, once I turn all this on, I can leave it on and then use a circuit breaker under there to actually get power to the machine. And then what should happen is once everything is okay, then this green light should flash, letting me know that I can press it and turn the machine on. So we're getting close. And I need to keep it away from the wall anyway for ventilation purposes, because the machines do get hot. I mean, the build chamber in there gets up to I think 145 degrees or 150 degrees for average materials, and when you get into the high temperature materials, it gets even higher than that. So it needs to have enough space around it that it can breathe a little bit. So anyway, that's what I have now. I'm going to push the machine back a little bit so that I can more easily get around it, but I need to leave it away from the wall. Oh, and here's the other thing I wanted to show you is there's the connection for the air line, and so I need to get a female adapter to click into that, and there's the the network cable, where the network cable plugs in. So I have to do that also and run the network cable. Right now I just have that cable kind of connected to the router up there, and you can see the cable running up, and it's just looped through that eyelet up there, and then it comes down and it's over the top of this file cabinet. But I got to feed it back through there, and then what I'll do is I'll tack it up along with this so it's nice and neat, and I'll run it down, and then I'll come over to the machine with it once I get everything in position. So that's another thing I have to do before I can run the machine, is get the network connected and talk the 3D printer talking to the computer so that I can actually print files. So I basically know how to do it, had to do it with this one and some of the other ones too. So I know what needs to be done, I just have to get it done. I'm going to move this machine back a little bit, get it a little bit closer to the wall so I can have room in front. And then I got to connect up the sub panel, get the wires connected and get the circuit breaker in, and then that's pretty much it. Outside of the air compressor and the network cable, this guy is ready to cook. I have the 3D printer moved back into position. Everything's wired up. Then I have the circuit panel, or the sub panel I mean. The sub panel all finished. Let me show you. Here, grab my treble light so we can see a little bit better. There's the 50 amp breaker right there on the top for the 240 line. You can see the big 8 gauge wires coming out of it, going up and over with a little bit of excess in there. I always leave some good excess in there, leave a loop. That way if I need to move things around or change things or fix wires, I've got a little extra wire to work with. And the neutral wire, the white one, you can see it back there in the top, right on top on the neutral bus bar. The white one back there, and the ground is connected down here, and it's all ready to go. So this is finished, and that over there is finished. So all the electrical work is finished now for that machine. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you're ever in need of 3D product design, 3D injection mold design, 3D die-cast mold design, or 3D printed prototypes or production parts, please feel free to contact me. You can find contact information in the video description. I look forward to hearing from you and to being of service to you. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate it. See you on 3D Accuracy's next video.